Hey, how have you been, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This time we're on Season 1, Episode 5, titled titled Girl in the Flower Dress. No, besides from the one in the middle. But last time, what did we have? We had I Spy with another face from Coulson's past returning with a pretty dark secret. I was going to make a pun, but I decided, you know what? No, I already made a pun in the video description. That's more than enough. That's more than enough. You guys don't need more cheesy puns. But we had a Aquila Amador, a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent under Coulson's training, having returned after, I think she went missing after like a mission gone wrong or something. Her entire team went down, but she was, I think, like missing or nowhere to be found, or I think she was actually captured by the people who then turned into her employers and kept in a cage, and then they did some stuff surgery stuff on her and turned her eye into something more technological with X-ray vision and all that stuff. And then they put in like a kill switch that prevented her from being able to properly fight back. And then that basically meant that she became their technological kind of assassin. Like, you know, they saw everything that she saw, and they gave her orders to do stuff. And she said it started out with basic stuff like follow this guy, steal this, hack this, and then it turned into other more dangerous stuff that they wanted out of her. And she wasn't the only one. There were others, and even like it turned out in the end that even the one who was giving her orders was under the same control that she was. Like he was giving her orders, but then when Coulson went to confront him, his own eye popped, and then he just collapsed on the ground. So there's no telling how many people they've got under that kind of control until you actually meet the people in charge of the whole thing, or even whether it's a big or small kind of organization that's doing all of this. But regardless, Coulson did say that they are still out there. So if and when they ever come across these guys, they will need to be taken down. So yeah, that was that. I think he said Aquila is gonna have to go to a trial because of the stuff that she did. Because you know, like she wasn't necessarily brainwashed. She was in control of her own mind. She could think for herself, but it was just being under that kind of pressure, knowing that she could die if not doing what she was told. Like that was the only real kind of obstacle for her. So he did say he'd testify for her in court, but whether or not anything good actually comes out of that, we have yet to wait and see. But yeah, I think this kind of these early episodes, like I think as well as serving as good development, I think what I like that they've done is actually bringing back faces from Coulson's past, because you know, like the way we were introduced to Coulson was in the movies in slightly minor roles. I think, you know, we saw him, like, I think he first showed up in Iron Man 1, actually. He first showed up there, like, they were setting all that stuff up from there, and he was showing up as a representative of S.H.I.E.L.D. until Nick Fury showed up in the post-credits, and then I think Iron Man 2, Nick Fury became a more prominent role, and then we got Black Widow, and then we had Coulson coming in as well and kind of keeping an eye on Tony after all the Whiplash stuff, and then he was sent on a mission to collect Thor's hammer from New Mexico. Like, they've been building him up, and I think looking back and watching, like, those movies, like, you know, like, I never would have thought that he'd be a character we'd actually get any kind of full stories out of. He's definitely the character you want stories out of. You know, he's been through a lot. There are a lot of stories you could tell about his past and a lot of stories you could create with him in the future, and that's exactly what they're doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's nice to see that they're actually bringing in a proper backstory for him, like showing off everything like he's been through, like all the people he knows, what he's done, stuff like that. And watching, I think he was watching Captain Marvel, hearing Nick kind of like offloading his entire backstory, like he was a soldier out of high school, he went through this and that, became a spy, then became director. Like, these people have been through a lot, and it's actually good to hear everything that they've been through. So I think that's what they've actually done really well with this, with these first few episodes. I think, like, actually bringing back faces from Coulson's past, like telling us what he's been through, like what he was like in the past as well. Because I think in episode 2 with Camilla, like he knew her from back in, I think, probably his military days, and then she took a darker turn. And then with Aquila, she was I think it was probably his first group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents he trained and led, but then it all went wrong, and again, like Aquila was the only one left, and then, you know, I think she may have been the trained S.H.I.E.L.D. agent closest to him, so it was best to bring her back for it as well. But yeah, I think besides from that, we didn't really have much going on, just some interesting comedic moments and interactions here and there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can remember from the last one. So episode 5, The Girl in the Flower Dress. Let's go. He's gonna break the egg. He's gonna break the egg. No, he's gonna turn it into fucking tinsel. She's got flowers. Is this the girl in the flower dress? Whoa! Why don't you show people that? Instead of... Jesus! Okay, that's a fucking trick. Not turning eggs into tinsel. Like, throw fire bombs. You know, do some, you know, stuff that people are actually going to be amazed by.
Never reveals his secrets.
I believe you've been chosen.
You do?
Close your eyes.
Chosen for what?
I'll show you.
Oh crap, yep, chosen for abduction. I fucking knew it. Yeah, he's not lucky enough to get a kiss. Oh, jeez. I don't think that's gonna cut through the suit. Damn it. I knew abduction was in the cards. Knew it.
G7.
Hit.
Oh, well, they're playing battleships? They're playing battleships.
You know what this has to do with my training? G4.
Direct hit. Oh, that's a direct hit. Oh, that's a direct hit.
Say it.
Direct hit.
Check my battleship. Alright, that's 2 out of 3.
Nice one, Skye. Nice.
She's fitting in nicely.
It's the same cyberpunks who hacked us before. Somehow they got in again. It's the rising tide.
Oh, shit. That go-ahead you gave them a few episodes ago wasn't the best idea.
I believe her, sir. And if she's telling the truth, we need to track down the person responsible. Dig up
That's a much more developed war than we saw a couple of episodes ago.
Scorch.
Scorch.
Are you joking?
Have you ever heard of Steve Rogers?
Yes.
But Captain America, now he's on the news. And a lunchbox. And a poster on the wall.
I don't want to be
And a
superhero.
t-shirt.
You want to be recognized.
Do you know how to stand in... Do you not know how to stand in a more intimidating way than that?
Alright, suit, you asked for it. Gridlock protocol.
Gridlock. Oh, he's hacking the traffic lights. Just all systems go. All vehicles go. All green lights. Damn, that's smart. That's smart.
Had to pull out all the stops though.
Quite literally. You warned him ahead of time, Skye.
I don't have much time. Who did you leak those files to?
Wait a second. Did you just call me dumbass?
Wait, were you two together?
Serious.
Were they together?
I taught you everything you know, so I've been missing you like crazy.
They were together. They were together. I mean, hey, if this makeout session isn't confirmation, then I don't know what is.
That's classified.
You did not just say that to me. Come on, you gotta tell me something.
Yeah, I mean, a hacker saying something is classified is incredibly ironic. Oh, shit.
Top. Dressed.
Yeah, that's probably the best move right now. And while those two were banging, they were setting up shop. They're setting up the computers and everything. Wow.
Really, I was gonna find out everything I could to try to help. I felt like I couldn't tell you guys.
Well, Shield can still interview him. That's not off the
That's
record.
why I asked May to follow you.
Secure the prisoners.
I'm so sorry for this is
Skye's a
not-
prisoner. Skye's a prisoner. Damn it, Skye. You know, I had a feeling this would get even worse. Like, first when she says yes to the rising tide, then when she breaks news to Ian Quinn about everything she was doing, like, ugh.
Breathe.
Is he
Feel it?
gonna be able to go supernova with this thing?
Now let's
Or what? Whoa!
Sorry. You almost got scorched. It is incredible. Woo!
Is he gonna be held accountable for any property damage that happens? Because I imagine those fireballs are just gonna fly through the wall.
She wouldn't let me use it. Nobody holds me back.
You sure that's a good thing? And what does what's Raina really after here? Who does she work for? Such a mystery, isn't she?
$1 million. It would change my life.
I bet you he sold it to Raina. He sold it to Raina.
That
He
woman
had
was
to.
harmless. I looked into it.
No one with good intentions pays that kind of
Yep.
money for information.
Fan of the rising tide. Some rich girl in a flower dress.
Raina! Raina!
Said I
Yeah.
had a gift. Yeah, insects. Some study with centipedes.
Centipede.
Less than that.
Oh, shit! Oh, God, the dad, Mike, from episode 1.
Neutralized.
She works with Centipede?
You gave
Hello?
me one, didn't you?
She's the Reaper that fucked and killed Cass. That's is it April her name? I don't know.
Actually call him that.
But she's the Reaper from Supernatural.
Platelets.
Wait, does it hurt now?
What have you done?
Whoa!
This ability, which is why we're removing them. Take this upstairs.
They're taking away what makes him immune to the damage of his own powers?
And you're giving it.
Oh, Raina, you... God damn it.
Asian man,
So he still has his powers, but what actually makes him immune to its own destruction? That's what they're taking away.
love these things.
Oh yeah, he's just very, very small, controlled explosion.
Quan, can you arrange?
Whoa! Oh, he re-injected the serum.
What have you done? I've set myself free.
Jeez, oh, he re-injected the serum into himself so he doesn't burn anymore. Damn it. Oh no, he still burns. He's still burning.
You're in pain. Poor little Chang Ho Yin may have believed your lies, but not Scorch.
Who?
Ah, crap.
Yeah.
The name.
Yeah, they gave him a name, alright. God damn it. Oh, jeez. Yep, he's going supernova. Supernova. That's supernova. Oh, that's a fire shield. That is nice. That is nice.
Stop me.
Whoa. Oh, Raina, you fucking savage. Oh, you savage.
Look, we can fix you,
Scorch has seen better days, huh?
make you strong.
Oh, crap! Oh, he burned her to ash.
But we have to.
Oh, a neat little sedative. Neat little sedative. Closing all the other pathways. Oh, jeez. The R.I.P. Chan. R.I.P. Chan. R.I.P. Chan. Whoa. God damn it.
Skye managed to.
What's it do?
Whatever we tell it to do. I'd try
Oh,
to
it's a-
avoid any unlawful activity, and I think
a
you'll find it
tag.
hard to use electronic devices for a while.
Ah, a tag that paralyzes his arm.
Cool, but we're still in Hong Kong.
And Agent Kwan's family thanks you for the anonymous donation.
Yeah, you owe them that,
My office.
Miles. You owe them that.
My lifelong search has led to a single document. Redacted.
My shield. You might not like what you find.
Oh,
It
crap.
can't be worse than what I've imagined.
Was so S.H.I.E.L.D. took down any information on her parents? Why?
The SHIELD unit in Hong Kong. We've encountered them before. They took our subject off the map in Los Angeles.
Not much I can do about that in here.
Skye.
That's not why I'm getting the visit.
Was she the LA subject?
We would like you to touch base with the clairvoyant.
The clairvoyant?
See if any insights can be given.
The clairvoyant doesn't like to be touched.
We all have to do things that make us uncomfortable.
What is the clairvoyant? Damn, that was a fucking good episode. Oh, jeez. Okay, this is where it all starts getting interesting. That was great. Yeah, no, that was a really nicely done episode. I think it's after, like, you know, I think people have been telling me, you guys have been telling me, like, you know, oh, give it the first few episodes. They're gonna spend some time working on the development of stuff and setting up the characters, you know, making them actually blend well together, that sort of thing. Then a few episodes in, things really start getting interesting. I feel like I'm starting to reach that point now. It's actually getting really, really good. There's just so much to talk about. So yeah, I think now is when they're actually like they're actually bringing stuff back that they introduced, and now they're actually delving more into what this season's going to be about and everything they're up against, in terms of organizations and, you know, superpowered villains and, you know, all sorts of mysteries and conspiracies, all of that stuff. It's all very juicy, all very juicy. So where to start off with? I've got a whole page of stuff. Raina. Okay, I've seen her before. I can't remember what the actress' name is, but any of you who have watched Misfits, she was in that. That's where I recognize her from. But now it's good to see her expanding more into some other sci-fi stuff. So haven't seen her anything since then. But she, I don't know who the actress. I think she's in Preacher as well. I think I've seen her in a poster for Preacher along with Dominic Cooper, who played Howard Stark. Funnily enough. But yeah, I think Raina, she is the girl in the flower dress, the ever so mysterious woman who lures people in with their abilities and everything like that. She said she was a fan of the Rising Tide and she works for Centipede. And Raina, I'll say this much, right? When I first saw her interacting with Chan in his apartment, and like her telling like her using those words, her saying, like, you know, oh, we can make you stronger, we can make you better, we can, you know, we can make sure people remember you and, you know, your name, and even giving him a superhero name, like that kind of stuff. It screams like human exploitation to me. Like she's telling him what she wants to hear. She's telling him attractive stuff that will make him want to join and sign up for this science project and all that stuff. And, you know, like being assured that, you know, if stuff goes right, like she doesn't tell him about any of the failure rates or like the success to failure ratio. She just tells him, like, oh, if we do this, here's everything we can do. Let's just not mention everything that could go wrong, but, you know, focus on what we can do for you and what we're going to try and do for you. Focus on the good stuff. So, you know, like with that, like she just lures him in, like, you know, like a kid to a bucket of candy or whatever. And then, you know, stuff inevitably does go wrong, and then she just moves on to the next subject. So that stuff just screams exploitation to me. Like, you know, she keeps coming across all these people, and, or, you know, she's leaked the information because Miles did leak that info about Chan to her, and then she finds these people, lures them in, and, you know, gets her boys in the suits to restrain him and to abduct him, and then cue the endless kind of science experiments. But she does work for Centipede. And I think Raina, she seems like a character with a lot more to do now. I think like this was a very nice introduction to her character. I think I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, like what more she does and what more she is in this show. Like she again, she seems very interesting, and I think the whole exploitation stuff, as much as I hate it, it is like a character trait that's interesting to see how it all unfolds and how she interacts with other people in the show. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of her and more of Centipede. But yeah, Centipede. So I think they are a kind of them. I think they're like a minimalist, like a small organization, but no less powerful than anyone like Hydra. Like Hydra, they're like the big bad of like Marvel, or at least in terms of like secret societies, they're one of the big bads of Marvel. They have power, they have influence, they have money, they have influential figures and stuff like that. Like, they have that kind of control. But Centipede, I think they're smaller but no less powerful. They prefer to hide in the shadows. They work with people who they know can work for them. They don't go looking for subjects. They wait for the subjects to actually pop up on the radar, even for a second, and then they snatch them up and actually start doing their work. So they are a lot sneakier and a lot more careful about how they work. Not careful enough to not show up on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar, but still. But they want to create super soldiers. And I think Raina mentioned, like, back in, like after they abducted Chan, she actually mentioned, like, oh, have you heard of Steve Rogers, Captain America, super soldier, living legend from the 40s, recently fought alongside the Avengers in New York and led them against Chitauri, blah, blah, blah. Like, all of that stuff. Like, again, she's just sweet-talking him, like, showing him, like, oh, look at this guy. He volunteered for a test subject that could have gone horribly wrong, but he came out mighty and strong and victorious and all that crap. The same thing could happen for you. We could make that happen for you. I mean, we might not be able to, but let's just focus on the fact that we could make it work for you. That kind of stuff. So they do want to create super soldiers, but in slightly different ways than how Erskine did it and how S.H.I.E.L.D. like might be doing as well. I don't know if S.H.I.E.L.D. is still working on that stuff, but I think. Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably because I've yet to watch Agent Carter, yet to continue with it anyway, but I think I do remember back in the film, in the first Avenger, Peggy saying, you know, any hopes of recreating super soldiers using the serum is locked in Steve's genetic code, so that's why they actually took a sample of his blood. So I don't know if in Agent Carter, I mean, I've, again, yet to watch it, but I don't know if they actually approached that subject in the show. I think I would assume that they, logically speaking, would in terms of story, but still, Centipede wants to create the super soldiers, and they started off with the actual centipede on the arm that gives their subjects that kind of enhanced strength and endurance and whatnot. But what they don't know how to do, from my perspective, the way I see it, what they don't, like, I mean, well, they even said it themselves, but they don't know how to keep their subjects stable. They don't know how to keep them stable. Like, even with the Centipede guy, like, I think with the Centipede guy, the problem was slightly more obvious because it was there from the get-go, and that was a guy in a troubled situation. Like the way I saw it with him was, like, you know, they did not know how to link, like, you know, how to link power stability to the mental state of the subject, like because it was essentially how it worked for Bruce, pretty much. Because with Bruce, like, you know, every time he's under I mean, I think it's not just anger, but anytime he's under any kind of intense emotional stress, like anger, fear, sadness, anything like that, anything, his heart rate gets too high, and anytime he's under any kind of heavy emotional stress, he transforms. So with these guys, it's somewhat the same in the sense that, you know, especially we saw it with Mike, like, he was a dad in a stressful situation. He was out of a job. He was, you know, like, struggling to support himself and to support his son and to keep a home. He was under that kind of stress, and he didn't know what to do. So, you know, the more he received bad news, the more stressed out he got, and then that kind of, like, linked his powers to his mindset, and he grew angrier and stronger and more destructive. So I think that's what Centipede is struggling to actually. I think maybe it could be something that they're struggling to understand, because, again, Raina, she's not taking the subjects, like all these people's kind of, like, the way they're living their lives, like how they're feeling, into effect. Like, she's seeing essentially puppets with abilities and saying, you know what, you can be useful, you can work for us, you'd be useful, and essentially just saying, like, you know, I mean, I know your story based on the research I've done, but I don't really give two shits about anything else. So, you know, come work for us and we can make you strong. And even if you're angrier, then that probably works out better for us because it means we're doing a good job. Like, that's how she works. It's likely how the scientists work as well. So it doesn't do a good job of actually helping, like, the subjects control themselves, and doesn't do a good job of actually, like, you know, like, the more the angrier they get, the more their powers start to go out of play, and the more unstable they get. And she even said, like, you know, so far all the subjects have, like, they've had a combustion issue, like the cells have been unable to, like, remain stable where like with the, like, with whatever state the actual, like, with whatever state the person themselves is actually in. So the angrier they get, the more active the cells get probably, and then they just combust. But Mike survived. I do remember Mike survived. I can't remember how. I don't remember if they actually gave him an antidote or something that actually kept him stable, or something that kind of neutralized his powers just a little bit. but I can't remember. I think they did give him something. They sedated him with a trank gun, and then they gave him something else, so they kept him alive. But Chan is the one who didn't quite make it. So R.I.P. to him. But yeah, I think that's what Centipede's problem is. They're focusing on creating soldiers, essentially. Like, again, I think like that's one of the reasons they're not focusing on emotion, because they want to create soldiers. It's not just like people with abilities and working on improving them. They want to create soldiers that can actually do their work for them and actually work stronger and harder and faster, without any kind of sense for like emotional capacity. Because obviously when you create a soldier, you want someone who's not afraid to make the tough choices. They're not afraid to, you know, let their conscience get a little muddy, and, you know, like they don't let their emotions cloud their judgment. They don't just start feeling bad because they killed a few people, stuff like that. So in that sense, I think Centipede may well just be as brutal as Hydra. But yeah, Centipede, definitely an interesting organization. But yeah, they are the ones creating the soldiers. I don't know if all of their subjects have that Centipede on them, because Chan, I don't know why I keep calling him Chan didn't, but I don't know if he was on the way to getting it, or because, like, well, they said they were draining him, so they were taking out, I think, they said that what stopped him from burning up because of his own powers, like what stopped him from getting any actual physical damage, was some kind of fluorescence or like flame like thing in his cells that actually stopped him from actually being like it gave him flame kind of immunity or something. But then once they took that away, I think he definitely still had the powers, but once they took that away, that's what actually like made him start actually actively burning up and everything. So I think in that case, it could be that they're not just working on him like some people they're actively working on improving them and actually giving them powers, but other people they're just analyzing what makes them special and what makes them good and what allows them to do what they do, and then taking that away from them. So then telling him that he could be powerful is how she drew him in, but in the end she took what made him powerful away from him, or at least part of it. So again, just Centipede is sneaky, very, very sneaky. They've got all their legs have little secrets of their own. I don't know how many legs Centipedes have, but all the little legs that the Centipede has is just secrets contained by Centipede. Like, oh, we'll do this for you, but this is what our real agenda is, what our real goal is. So yeah, that was Centipede. And of course, the lovely Reina. What else? So, Chan Ho Yin. So he was a pyrokinetic street magician, and I think they mentioned that he lived close to like a nuclear power plant or something, and then when something went wrong with that, that's how he actually came to, you know, use his powers, and that's how his powers were birthed. So like a nuclear power plant went wrong, somewhere like it exploded or something went wrong. And then he went with those powers, and he lived a tough life with those powers. Like, it's not that he didn't want to use them. He just, well, he didn't, but he did. Like, he didn't in the sense that he knew there were government agencies like S.H.I.E.L.D. and other, just governments in general that would see him and either see him as a dangerous being that needs to be put down, aka the Incredible Hulk, or they would try and use him to create something more to create more like experiment on him and find out what makes him tick and what makes him so special, also kind of the Hulk. Or that, you know, he'd just constantly be on the run, he'd constantly be hunted down, never be able to live a normal life because of what he can do, because again, he'd always be chased down by men in suits that want to do more with him and want to use him for what he has. So because of that stuff, he was always afraid to actually use his powers, and use it's why like he always stuck to the basic magic tricks, like the egg and the egg turning to tinsel and all that basic kind of street stuff. But then was always afraid to use his powers, and I think even then, the way the general public has kind of been manipulated by the government, has it also played a factor, the public always being told like, oh, if you see any people like this, then run away immediately. They're there to kill you, they're there to hurt you, and they're very, very strong and dangerous people. Logically speaking, if you go out in the street and you see a guy shooting flames out of his hands, you kind of want to run, because you don't know whether he's going to use it to burn you down or if he's a good guy. In my mind, there are very few characters with those kinds of powers that turn out to be good guys. The Human Torch, obviously, that's one of them. I don't know what his name is, but we got that guy from Ben 10 that's literally made of lava and rocks, and he can shoot flame balls. Stuff like that. I mean, it's a kind of mix and match thing. Like, it's a destructive ability, but whether or not it can be used for good or bad is kind of subjective. So yeah, but Chan, he was afraid to use his powers, and like I think he didn't ask for them. He didn't want them, but when they came upon him, he realized that, you know, he was special, but he had a very, very hard time figuring out if that was a good special or a bad special, and with the way the world was around him, and especially, like, people with powers, they can't have an easy time, like after, I mean, like, after stuff like the Battle of New York, I think that has a much bigger influence on the world than people actually realize, and it's not just about people finding out that the Avengers exist and that there are superpowered people looking after them under government monitoring. But it's also the fact that, you know, the fact that people like that there can be people like that as well, people with abilities, people, you know, who I think it's a force of, like, it's a force for good and bad. Like, people can probably see that kind of stuff and see, especially again if they're in a bad place and they're under a lot of emotional stress and they're angry, they can probably see that as a way as a means of actually getting their anger out, like going out, blowing shit up and burning things up. So it's a very different thing, and like people, and again after the Battle of New York, people are very, very scared because now they know what's out there, but at the same time they don't know what's out there. Like, you know, people who refused to believe in aliens then just saw a whole horde of them coming down a wormhole in New York, and now they don't know what to believe, and they think, you know, oh, now we've got to be on a 24/7 kind of clock, we've got to be aware of everything around us, we don't know what's coming or when it's coming, we don't know if and when the Avengers are always going to be on call, and it's a different situation for everyone. I think that's one of the things that this series has been nailing so far really well. Like, you know, there are constant references, and some people see the Battle of New York, the aftermath of it, as a good thing. Like, you know, oh, we have people ready to help us. We have a team of capable, strong people to actually, you know, help us and fight for us. But at the same time, it's like, there are threats like this that, you know, how do we even know if the Avengers can handle all of them? Like, you know, like there could be someone out there, you know, maybe someone ready to collect 6 stones and wipe out half the fucking universe. Like, you know, how do we know the Avengers can handle that kind of shit, you know? I mean, probably not something that specific, but at the same time, it's like, you know, it's that kind of thing. Like, people don't know what to expect, but at the same time, they want to be aware of what's out there, and it makes them very afraid of, like, and even with the people with powers, it makes them afraid of what they can do, but it also makes them angry, and it's a very mix and match kind of two-way street. Like, some people think, you know, oh, this is great, heroes, and other people think, wait, shit, what the fuck are we up against? Like, what can I do that is going to make any of this matter? And with Chan, like, you know, obviously, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. even, like Coulson even said, with S.H.I.E.L.D., like, you know, oh, we keep a list of, like, of people with abilities, like superpowered people, just to monitor them, like, not even to go out and arrest them at any random point, but actually to keep an eye on them, to monitor them, to see where they're at, what they're doing, how they're doing. So it seems a lot less harmful that way. It seems more like, you know, oh, we're just keeping an eye on them for their safety. But then, you know, it's like, that's exactly what Chan's afraid of as well, like being on some kind of watch list of a government agency because of what he has and what he can do, and just knowing that if he ever makes one wrong move, S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably going to kick down the doors and slam his face against the ground and tell him not to move, or they'll shoot him out. So, you know, that kind of stuff sets Chan on edge, and it sets those kinds of people on edge. So yeah, this and that name, Scorch. Could they have come up with something a bit more cliche? Could they come up with anything more cliche than that? I mean, I don't know. Like, saying it over and over again doesn't really sound better. But then, you know, saying it like once every 15 minutes, like Scorch. 15 minutes later, Scorch. Like, it sounds all right, I suppose. But then the fact that they gave him a code name as well, just to sweet talk him a bit more. Like, you have powers. We want to use them. We can make you stronger. You can be Scorch. Think about how badass that sounds. Like, you know, oh, I came into your experiment as Scorch, I'm gonna die as Scorch. Why do you have to die at all? But yeah, Chan Ho Yin turned into Scorch, and then he turned into an explosion. So, R.I.P. to Chan. R.I.P. to Chan. But yeah, that was Chan. Miles. So he is a rising tide hacker and an ex-boyfriend slash ex-lover slash just in general an ex of Skye's. And he was the one who leaked Chan's info to Centipede and to Raina for like I think Ward pulled out quite a few like checks from that envelope, but he did say it was like I don't know if it was like $1 million on each check or just a few checks leading up to $1 million, but he sold the info to Raina to Centipede for $1 million after having come across the information. So freedom of information, huh? So freedom of information in return for money. That definitely works out very nicely. But yeah, I think obviously him and Skye have history, very romantic history as well as she unveiled. But she did say that he was in a tough place when they first met, and she was in a very, very, very tough place. Well, not very, very, very. Right, so my camera ran out of space, and I had to transfer all the videos onto my PC and then restart things, so I have no idea where I actually left off. But I think it might have been to do with Chan, and then once I got to Miles, I think I definitely remember starting to talk about Miles before it turned off, so I think I'll just return to that. But yeah, he is a rising tide hacker, and him and Skye trouble past. One was screwed up, one was more screwed up. Sold the info for $1 million. Got on the flower dress, Raina. That stuff I said. But what else? I mean, yeah, I think he is just like, I think Skye said he's just like an idealist. Like, he believes in the freedom of information to all those who need it. And like this particular kind of information on Chan, on who he is, what he can do, where he is, all that stuff. Enough for Raina to be able to track him down and lead her lab boys to him to be able to abduct him. So I think the problem I see with Miles in that particular context is the fact that he believes in the freedom of information, but he doesn't pay attention to the consequences of said information. Like, that kind of stuff, it's information on a person's well-being, on a person's whereabouts, on a person's, like, you know, livelihood, like that kind of stuff, like given to the wrong person can be very, very deadly. So that's what he wasn't really focusing on. But it was also money. He was offered I think he was offered like $1 million. Wait, the check. So he was given. I think I haven't really specified that he was given $1 million by Raina. Yeah, I think because he was exchanging the information. So he gave her the information, and she gave him $1 million in return. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. I mean, that's logically speaking, that's how trade deals work. Like, you know, you give someone money in exchange for goods or services or whatever. But yeah, so he got $1 million in return for Chan's info, and then Chan came onto Centipede's radar, and then Raina tracked him down, and then beer in the apartment, boys in suits, all that stuff. So yeah, but Miles, I don't know if we'll be seeing him again. Doesn't really seem like his story is too far from over. Like, he is back in Hong Kong, and Coulson told him to hitch a ride back to Austin, Texas. So dude's got some traveling to do, but I feel like I don't know if it's going to be like on the way back to Texas, or if he's like once he gets back to Texas and once he starts doing his thing again. I mean, well, he can't really do his thing again, not properly anyway, because he has that little tag now. So Coulson said they're going to be tracking everything he does whilst online, and all of the hacking he does is going to be monitored by S.H.I.E.L.D., and if he makes one wrong move, he won't be able to use a computer or any electronic device for 2 whole days, or something within that range. So yeah, I mean, I know that this is set before that, but it reminds me of Tony's thing from Iron Man 3, like when he's rescuing all the people in the air and he gets to Heather and he's like, you know, do what I say, focus now, keep calm, focus, do what I say, or I'll electrocute your hand and you won't be able to move it. Okay? We're under tight time pressures here, Heather. So yeah, but again, set before that, so yeah. But Miles, yeah, I feel like we might be seeing him again. Doesn't seem like his story's over. I feel like we might be seeing him crossing into the wrong person or crossing onto the wrong path, or maybe he might be coming up with some bad rising tide news in that sense, and he might track down Skye exclusively and maybe try and tell us some stuff. But I feel like we're going to be seeing him again. I feel like his story's not over yet. So yeah, that was Miles. Interesting character. Seen him before as well. Don't know where it is, but I've seen him before. I think a lot of the faces in this show I've seen before somewhere. So yeah, good to see some familiar faces in the acting industry. So yeah, that's that. Centipede, already talked about that. Shield redacted info on Skye's parents. At least that's how I took it. Like, they, yeah, I think what she had on that chip, not a SIM card, what she had on that chip, was everything about her, and everything about where she came from, and everything about how she got into hacking with the Rising Tide in the first place. And she said her goal is to look for her parents. Because she's been in and out of the foster care system, she's been in and out of that with various families, never really worked out, but she's always been looking for where she came from, who she came from, and like who her parents are. So that's something that she's never been able to find out. And now she said that something about Shield having redacted, like she found like the one document that could have led her to that truth, but then it was redacted, and it was a Shield document, I think. I mean, let me look back at that. I think it might have been a Shield document. I'm not sure. Not that. You're gonna need my earphones for this one. Hold on. So he gave her the same tag, but what was it? Yeah. The single document redacted. Yeah, so her lifelong search for her parents led to one document that was redacted, like, well, at least had, I think I saw, like, the document, it had, like, a lot of black, light, blurred lines over it, so that was redacted by S.H.I.E.L.D. themselves. Now, I'm wondering whether they did that once she joined S.H.I.E.L.D. or once they became aware of her, or, like, stuff like that, because, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D., there's no telling what kind of secrets they've got, because even Coulson said, you might not like what you find. Like, that's what he didn't try and defend S.H.I.E.L.D.'s actions, he didn't try and deny it, he didn't say anything else, he just said, you go down this path, you might not like what you find, because Skye said, no matter what you do, no matter how much you hide, I will find the truth, I'm never going to stop looking for it. And then Coulson said, you might not like what you find, so he knows the truth, he knows it's something that's going to potentially hurt Skye, based on what she finds, and she might not like it either way, so he gave her the same tag. So I think this is a two-way thing, I feel like. Like, in one sense, it stops her from actually, snitching out to anyone else or keeping anyone else off S.H.I.E.L.D.'s radar without them knowing, in the same way that she protected Miles. But also, it prevents her from looking too deep into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s files in the wrong way and reaching the wrong places. So this way, Coulson can help her. And my camera's running out of battery again, that sucks. He can help her. And help her look in a way that keeps her safe from anything S.H.I.E.L.D.'s hiding as well. So, yeah. I don't know, I've just got anxiety now that I'm seeing the light flashing, but, yeah, so, he can actually help her find the right stuff without going into the wrong stuff, and help her find it in a safe way that doesn't make her look bad in front of S.H.I.E.L.D. either, especially in front of Fury or someone. So, yeah, that stuff was redacted, but why? That's what I'm wondering. Why was it redacted? Like I think maybe in a sense of control. Like, I mean, I don't know what I mean. I'm thinking maybe if it, like, on the off chance that they actually know what she's looking for, then or maybe they just keep her past hidden from her so she doesn't go down the wrong path and find out something that she doesn't like and maybe pursue it anyway. Or maybe she doesn't try and blame S.H.I.E.L.D. for hiding it from her, and then go after S.H.I.E.L.D. in the wrong way either, so it keeps her off the wrong scent. But I don't know. That stuff is yet to be explored. So I assume we will be exploring that very, very soon. And finally, the Clairvoyant. That is a very sinister name. I like the sound of that. The Clairvoyant. That has a nice ring to it. But who that is, I don't know. I think Raina just told the guy in the jail cell, like, it's time to contact the Clairvoyant, and he said, you don't want to do that. Trust me, you don't want to do that. And she responded with, sometimes you have to, you know, touch the hard strings to actually get to the right stuff, or something along those lines. But the clairvoyant is a very mysterious character, I can already tell. So who that is, I don't know. I mean, I've heard clairvoyant before in a movie somewhere, like the actual description of the word, but I don't know if the description matches this label. This sounds more like a code name for a very, very sinister person. But clairvoyant, that sounds very, very sinister. I like sinister. I like this kind of sinister vibe that's actually coming from this episode, everything that's coming up now. I'm liking it. But this was a great episode, a fantastic episode. Really looking forward to it, seeing what more Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has to offer. Loving the show so far, so I'm glad I'm getting more and more into it, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the reactions, as you've been saying. But yeah, that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1, Episode 5, titled Girl in the Flower Dress. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment or read all the episode and what you think is coming up next for our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And yeah, that's it. So, I will see you guys next time.